I love pinball. I think you probably have an appreciation for it, but you either feel like you suck at it or it gets kind of boring. Um, Either of those problems, I'm going to help you out with. So this is Pinball Arcade on Steam, but it's also available on a ton of other platforms. Uh, the Steam version is pretty cool because it lets you demo the tables generously. As in, you'll probably play a few games without even reaching the score limit. Once you do reach the score limit, it's a good idea to pay for the table so you can continue to play to see what happens. Especially on some of the more complex tables because you won't even see the end of modes, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so the analogy I'm going to use is basketball and horse. A lot of people are roaming around feeling like they have played pinball before, but they actually haven't. They've just kind of allowed the ball to bounce around, and they've hit the ball a couple times and hit some targets, and some stuff happened, and that was exciting. And that's cool and all. Pinball's great in that it is incredibly accessible at that early stage. The problem comes in when people assume that that's all there is to it. Um, if you haven't played anything but horse, and someone comes up to you and says, "You want to play a game of basketball?" and you're like, "No, I'm not really into basketball." What you're really saying is, "I'm not really into horse." But they're here in basketball, and they're thinking, "No, they're not into basketball." But you haven't even played basketball. I'm here to explain what playing pinball actually is. Okay, so we're gonna launch the ball, and I'm gonna try to catch it with my flipper, which is called trapping the ball. And then we can start Then we can start discussing things. Okay. Um. Yep. Here we go. It's so pleasant, isn't it? How it just bounces around. Much like, oh fuck, much like a slacker bouncing around life until they become waterlogged. Okay, so this is gonna happen. Fuck. At some point, we're gonna get this, and it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have all sorts of interesting things to say. Okay, so now that I've trapped the ball, so usually I don't trap the ball immediately. So that's okay. Anyway. This is called Big Shot. It's available on Pinball Arcade. This is the demo version. This is based off of 8-ball. It's themed as 8-ball. So you have all your balls here, and the lit ones show you which ones you have accumulated, which we haven't accumulated any. On the left is the solids, and on the right is stripes. Now, for those of you who don't know how to play 8-ball either, the way you play is you get all of either what are called the solids, or you get all of the stripes. You see the little stripes here on these balls. And the 8-ball last. But you don't have to worry about getting the 8-ball last. You just got to get the 8-ball at any point in this game. They made some concessions to the medium. So once we get all of either the left bank or the right bank down, these are called drop targets because if you hit them, they drop down, which is really aesthetically pleasing. So once you get all of those and you get the 8-ball, which you can also score up here, either this light or this light will light up. And where it says 100 points or special when lit, it's saying that you get 100 points if you just hit this target now. When it's lit, you get an extra ball, which is, of course, fantastic. Extra balls are a great reward for completing an objective. So this is pretty much a one objective table. Some of the later tables have much more complex objectives, and they also have multiple objectives on the same table. And when the game transfers from one objective to another, those are called modes. So, for instance, you might hit a couple of switches on the table that make it so that one objective is active and not another one. That's called a mode. So now, this might seem like a lot of information. This is why Pinball Arcade is awesome, because if you press the Start menu and you go down here to... Oh, wait. Okay, well, I'll show you. If you... yes, I'm sure. If you go to the table menu here, instructions. They have clear instructions on how to play tons of these tables. So this is telling you everything I've just told you about this table and more. And it's got it for all of the tables, and so you can... It'll actually teach you how to do it. And the achievement system is built in. They call them standard goals and wizard goals. And typically, what they are is they'll give you an achievement for accomplishing a complete objective on a table. Typically, sometimes the tables don't have many objectives, so they have to make them up. But it's really cool when you read the instructions and you know what you're trying to do, and you do it for the first time, and the little thing pops up in the screen, and you're like, "Yes, I did it." It's really exciting. I mean, the pinball table will also react, but not with the little pop-up screen. Okay, so we're gonna get either all of this banked down or all of this banked down in an 8-ball. And then we're going to hit one of these two targets, whichever one's lit, and that's going to give us our extra ball. So here we go. Okay, that's the in lane. The red area there is the in lane. In lanes are really important. You kind of get a sense of how much momentum a ball is going to have based off of how far up an in lane is. The yellow parts on the outside, these parts here, are called out lanes, and they're your enemy. They're horrible. Out lanes are pretty much what drains my ball pretty much every time. Alright, now we've hit 2, and that's why 2's lit. So we're going to try to hit some more. Now, there's a lot of confusion about what nudging is and what tilting is. Nudging is moving the table without getting a tilt. Tilting is when the game punishes you for nudging too much or too hard, and it'll make it so that you can't score anymore and you can't move the flippers, and it's horrible. It's like suddenly being paralyzed in the moment of heightened excitement. It's horrible, especially on Central Park. Oh man, I'm playing Central Park and it's so great, but the nudging is broken on that table and it keeps on tilting, and it's horrible. It's horrible because I could be doing so well and then I'll just nudge it and it'll claim it's a tilt and it's not a tilt, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so I can't wait to turn tilt off on that one. I get to turn tilt off as soon as I score 1,000 points with one ball, which is impossible on that table without nudging. Okay, so we got the ball trapped here. I'm going to show you what a post pass is. So let's suppose we want to use this flipper over here. Now, I'm not always good at this, but this is the idea. The idea is that I'm going to drop the flipper and then immediately press it up, and the ball is going to go boop and hit against this and bounce over here. That's the plan. Oh yeah, that's kind of what I meant to do. I meant to trap it, but okay, we got the 8-ball. That's good. Okay, but we gotta restart because we lost. All right. So I could nudge when it's up there to kind of like get it to go through that middle one. I'm not incredibly good at nudging, but all right. So trying to take down either all of the left bank or all of the right bank. Alright, we got the 8-ball, that's good. Uh-oh. Oh, that was a nudge! That was a nudge! Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to accomplish this during the video. It's actually kind of challenging. My god, they don't know what a fucking tilt is and what a nudge is. They've really got to change that because it's driving me nuts. That was a nudge. That was not a tilt. You got to be able to nudge. Okay. So yeah, you understand that this is pretty much a one objective table. I'm going to show you a table with multiple objectives now. If I can stop enjoying this as much as I am. Okay, that helped stop my enjoyment. All right. Now we're gonna go to play a black hole. So all of these, there's a ton of demo tables on Steam. It's real fun. It's really, I'm excited that they put so much good stuff on here. All right. So the reason I'm showing you black hole now is because black hole has more objectives than one, kind of, but it doesn't have a ton like the later tables have. So, oh, my left. once I get the ball trapped, I'll explain it. The flipper's acting weird. Okay, so on this table, you want to get all of these drop targets down, but you want to do them in order. You want to go B, L, A, C, K. If you get A, C, K before B, L, then okay. So these lights down here show you how many times you've gone down the drop targets. Because I hit B first, I got this light lit. If I hit L now, this light will light, and then I'll be working on ACK. But now if I hit A when L is lit, I'll have to knock down all of these drop targets in order to light this one. Okay, so once that is done, and this is done, accelerators light, and they give you bonuses. They give you bonuses to scoring, like multipliers, for when you are in the lower area. I'll show you the lower area. Again, all of this is in the instructions, but you know, reading isn't very fun on YouTube. So, this table also has a multi-ball, and I like this table's multi-ball because the lock is so interesting. Locking is when you basically put a ball in reserve for the multi-ball that comes later. I like that the lock is so visible. When you lock in this table, it stays up here, and you kind of, and that ball being there, it's kind of exciting because you're like, oh man, I'm going to start multi-ball and that ball's going to drop down and then I'm going to rack it up. Okay, so if you shoot it into that area, it goes into this lower area. Now when the these are the two accelerators. When these are lit because of those targets on the top that I was telling you about, you get bonuses to how much you score down here on the table. Scoring down here on the table is how you make all the cash. There's drop targets here, there's 3 here, and then there's 3 here. Now, you see where on top it says gate closed? What that means is that if the ball drains, and this is the matrix, okay? If you die here, you die in real life. If you die on this playfield, you die in real life. But if the gate is open, you will be allowed to drain, and then the ball will go back into the playfield on the other one. So we need to open the gate before the ball drains, and the way you do that is you hit all of these bank targets, I think. Or I think the shooting a ball into here might do it too. I don't remember. It's been a while. I love this table. I used to play it all the time. Okay. Gate's still closed. We got 2 drop targets down there. Now we're trying to get that 3rd one. Okay, the gate's open. Gate's open. Gate's open. So if it drains, it's going to go into the playfield instead of draining out of, instead of just losing the ball. So this is pretty much, that gives you an idea of how to start with Black Hole. In order to activate the multi-ball, you got to do some stuff. Read it in the instructions. The point is, there's a lot more than just banging the ball around on the table, which is fine and fun, but it gets boring. These tables have a lot more going on with them if you read the instructions. Okay, so I'm going to show you the table that comes with, you get a free table on Steam. It's a beautiful table. It's called Tales of the Arabian Nights. We got some pre-Islamic Arabia going on here. Super fun theme.
In ancient Baghdad,
you can get an idea that this is a more modern table because you have, this is called the dot matrix display. It tells you a little story about what's going on. You've got a genie, a blue genie, and it's a beautiful table, lots of Art Nouveau. Okay, so what I just did is I started a mode, so now specific things are active on this table that were not active earlier. And the way I started the mode was by shooting that blue genie up on top. Now, typically on these modern tables, what it wants you to do is, if you see a blinking light, that is where you should be shooting the ball. Okay. Hold on a second. Aloha. Hello? Hey, what's up? Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to get cleaned out because we didn't use it last year. But we can in case something nested in there. That makes sense. Yeah, I'll shove the thing down there and see. I love you. Bye. That was my wife asking me to clean the chimney because the snow is possibly coming. Okay. I'm probably gonna include that because you want to know. So the blinking lights are typically how you complete an objective in a mode. So what it's saying that, so now the flying carpet is lit, which is in the same spot that this is lit right here, which means complete the objective by shooting up, this is, on this table, you always complete an objective by shooting it up the flying carpet ramp. Oh, this is a good time to tell you about skill shots. So what it's saying is, all these modern tables have skill shots, and what it basically means is using the plunger well. I didn't make that skill shot, but if I had gotten it in the third area, it would have been a skill shot. Okay, now. There's a lot of stuff going on this table. A lot of stuff going on this table. Just lock the ball. Read the instructions. There's a ton of stuff to do. But, oh, let me show you something. In order to keep track of which objectives you've accomplished, you guys don't even know about wizard modes yet. Okay, these little lights down here, these light up whenever you accomplish one of the modes. Whenever you complete a mode, one of those lights. And a lot of tables have little lights down there with words on them that are a record of which modes you have completed. If you complete all the modes on this table, wizard mode starts, and it's kind of like the final boss battle. Typically wizard mode is very high scoring. There'll be special animations on the dot matrix display that make you know that you're awesome. And they usually involve a really hectic multi-ball. Sometimes it'll even let the ball drain and put more out because it's basically saying, you've earned this. This is a free table on Steam. Okay. I think that gives you an idea of what's going on here. That was my goal.